Good evening, everybody out there in Facebook land. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is concert number 21 for us. It's been exactly 3 weeks. Tomorrow will be the start of week number 4. And we would like to thank you so much for being along on this journey with us as we've started our virtual jazz club here. It's been such a pleasure to share our music with you these last few weeks. If we have any new listeners joining us tonight, we are Laura Dubin and Antonio Guerrero. Most of you watching already know that, but I'd like to introduce ourselves in case we have any new folks here tonight. All of our friends have been so wonderful these past few weeks. You've been sharing the videos on your own Facebook pages, and we appreciate that so much because it's really helped our audience to grow in a very short amount of time. So we thank you for that. Tonight we'd like to start with an original composition of mine. And this is dedicated to my favorite bassist, the wonderful bassist Ray Brown. And as many of you know, I grew up listening to the Oscar Peterson Trio constantly. They were my biggest inspiration, and that was the music that made me want to be a jazz musician. And Ray Brown played with the Oscar Peterson Trio for several decades. He had his own groups as well, and he was just a prolific band leader and composer and arranger in his own right. But I first started listening to him with the Oscar Peterson Trio, and I just can't think of any bass player who is more swinging and soulful and whose music is more joyful than Ray Brown's. And you can just listen to him alone and you hear everything that you need to hear. Every bass line he played was like a beautiful melody in itself. So this is a piece that's dedicated to Ray Brown, and it's called Blues in Brown. And instead of the melody being in my right hand, which is how pieces are typically played on the piano, the main theme is played by the left hand, aka the bass. One, two, three, four. That was an original composition of mine called Blues in Brown that was dedicated to the great bass player Ray Brown, a legendary bass player, I should say. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please leave us a comment and say hello if you're enjoying the music, and let us know where you're watching from, because we always love to know how far our music is traveling through the vast web of the internet. The next piece is also a dedication piece, not composed by me. It's a piece that was composed by Dave Brubeck and dedicated to Duke Ellington. So basically a combination of two of my favorite pianists and musicians of all time. This is a piece called The Duke, and I find it really interesting because not only does it sound very much like Duke Ellington, and of course it sounds like Dave Brubeck because he was the composer, I also think it sounds a little bit like Thelonious Monk. And what's interesting is that Thelonious Monk was hugely influenced by Duke Ellington, which I didn't really realize when I was first learning jazz. But when I was listening to Thelonious Monk recordings, and then when I heard some solo Duke Ellington recordings, because the majority of his recordings were with his big band, his jazz orchestra, but he had several recordings that he did with a small group and even solo piano. And the first time I heard them, I thought, wow, he sounds a lot like Thelonious Monk. But then I realized it was actually the other way around, because Duke Ellington was a generation ahead of Thelonious Monk, and so Monk was clearly very influenced by him. But anyway, although this piece is not about Thelonious Monk, I think it sounds a little bit like a combination of Monk, Brubeck, and Ellington. Yes. So it's really nice mixture.
It's kind of the history of jazz in just one piece.
Exactly.
One period. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And we've put our own little spin on it as well. So we've there's a couple little surprises in there with some changing meters and time signatures, as you know we'd love to do. So we hope you enjoyed this tune called The Duke. There we go. We got a combination. One, two, three. that was a composition called The Duke, which was composed by Dave Brubeck and dedicated to Duke Ellington, who clearly was one of Dave Brubeck's heroes and mine as well. They're both heroes of mine, so I think it's really cool to hear about how different musicians were influenced by others. It's really great history for us to learn. If you are enjoying the music tonight, please head on over to lauradubin.com. There's a link right in the video here at the top of the screen, and you can make a contribution to us in, there are 3 different ways that you can choose from. The first is, of course, you can download all of our albums. We've got 7 albums for you to choose from, so you'll have plenty of music to listen to these next few weeks or months. You can also make a one-time donation of any amount that you choose. There are several amounts there that you can choose from, but you can adjust them all to your liking by changing the quantity. And you can also become a monthly patron of Laura Dubin Jazz. So you can set up an automatic credit card payment that'll go through once a month, and it's through a secure PayPal website, a secure PayPal page, and you'll find that right on the bottom of the same screen. And again, there are several amounts that you can choose from there as well that you'd like to contribute once a month. It's a great way to show your ongoing support. And if you'd like to make a contribution but you don't want to do it online, feel free to send me a message later and we can talk about another method. And if you're unable to make a financial contribution at this time, that's absolutely okay. We really appreciate you listening to our music. It's the most important thing for us to have an audience to play for. So thank you so much. Next, we'd like to play a tune that I'd like to dedicate tonight to my dear friend Emily Champion. This is a piece called Emily, and this is actually my favorite jazz waltz. It's composed by Johnny Mandel, and I always thought it was such a beautiful piece of music. And I later on ended up loving it even more because I found out that it was written for a movie that starred Julie Andrews called The Americanization of Emily. We watched that movie last year. So of course, as you know, because we played The Sound of Music, I think last week during this concert, and I talked about how much I've always loved Julie Andrews. When I discovered this movie and that the song Emily actually came from this movie, it was just like, it elevated my love of the song even more. Unfortunately, she didn't actually sing the song in the movie. It was not a musical, and this was just an instrumental number that was played very, throughout the movie. It's Emily's theme song. But it's a beautiful piece of music, and I also always associate it with the pianist Bill Evans, who played this tune a lot, and he, to me, had like a definitive jazz waltz version of this tune. So a lot of special connections, but tonight we're going to play this for Emily Champion. This is Johnny Mandel's Emily. That was Emily by the great composer Johnny Mandel. That comes from a movie called The Americanization of Emily. And next we'd like to play a Latin jazz tune, and feel free to dance along to this one, or any of the tunes that we play, but I feel like this one is especially, it's hard to listen to or play without moving because that rhythm is just so infectious. Yeah, in a good way. This is a piece by the pianist and composer Michel Camilo. He comes, I believe, from the Dominican Republic, and he's one of the great contemporary jazz and Latin jazz pianists on the scene today. And I've been listening to his music for years because my jazz piano teacher from high school, Richard Delaney, played a lot of his music for me. He did a lot of his arrangements, and he played a lot of his recordings during our lessons. And so I've been listening to Michel Camilo for years. And this is such a fun and fiery composition of his. It's called From Within. And Antonio's got a cool new gadget here for this one. I'm not sure if it's the camera's... Yeah, it's in the camera right now. So that's actually a conga drum that Antonio just put out there. It's a conga drum without the body. You've probably seen a big conga drum before. They're like super tall. But yeah, it's got a new instrument for this tune.
Conga on diet.
Exactly. It's a conga who hasn't been to Wegmans in a few weeks. This is called From Within. One, two, three. Within by the great pianist and composer Michel Camilo. So much fun to play that piece. And after doing that, we need to slow things down a little bit for the sake of my hands not, falling off. Next, we'd like to play a lovely ballad by Duke Ellington. And we've played a couple of his pieces so far, and he's just got so many compositions. In fact, I believe he's one of the American composers with the largest output of compositions. He wrote pieces that became jazz standards. He wrote really elaborate orchestral works, big band, and all different types of instrumentation. He wrote symphonic music. He just had such a wide variety of music that he composed throughout his life, and we're barely scratching the surface of his catalog now, but it's such a pleasure to play his music. So this, I think, is one of the most beautiful ballads that he wrote, and it is called Prelude to a Kiss. That was Prelude to a Kiss by the one and only Duke Ellington. We've got just one more piece of music to play for you tonight, but please stick around for a few minutes afterward. We'd love to say hello to you all. If you haven't left a comment yet, please feel free to do so. And if you're new here, please introduce yourself because we'd love to meet you, even if it's only through Facebook for the time being. Let us know where in the world you're watching from because we'd love to know how far our music is traveling.
The galaxy.
Exactly. And that if you're on another planet,
Alpha
please let us know.
Centauri.
Alpha Centauri. Yeah, exactly. So, once again, if you're enjoying the music tonight and you'd like to see us continue doing these videos for as long as possible, please head on over to lauradubin.com after we play this next tune. There's a link right in the video here, and you can make a contribution in any of 3 ways. You can download all of our albums. We've got 7 albums for you to choose from. You can make a one-time donation of any amount that you choose. There are several suggested amounts there, but you can adjust them all by changing the quantity if you'd like. And you can also become a monthly patron of Laura Dubin Jazz. That's through PayPal, and you'll set up an automatic recurring bless you, an automatic recurring payment. Tissue?
Yes.
Here you go. Hey, I'm usually the one who sneezes, and I've got terrible allergies, especially this time of year. The spring's coming. What was I saying? You can make a monthly contribution on PayPal. There are several amounts that you can choose from that you can contribute once a month. And you'll set up an automatic credit card payment through the PayPal link. And it's a secure link. It stores your information securely. You can always cancel that at any time with no penalty or anything like that. And if you would like to make a contribution but you don't want to do it through the internet, please send me a private message here on Facebook and we can talk about another method. And if you're unable to make a financial contribution at this time, that's totally okay. We really appreciate you watching our videos and listening to our music. Your support over these last few weeks has just really meant so much to us. And a huge thank you to everybody who's been watching these videos and sharing the videos. And a thank you to everybody who's made a contribution so far. It's really helped us to feel like what we're doing is important, especially during this time. And we want to continue doing this for as long as possible. So you've really helped us be able to keep sustaining ourselves musically. So thank you so much. We'd like to finish out with a great American songbook piece by the great Gershwin brothers, George and Ira Gershwin. And this is our arrangement of I Got Rhythm. You can hear this on our second album, which is called Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. And we also have a live recording of this same tune on our Live at the Rochester Jazz Festival album, which we released in 2016. And this is kind of a modern jazz twist on this classic tune. One thing that I love to do when I'm arranging or practicing is I love to take the melody of a piece of music and completely change the chords underneath. Because when I do that, it gives it like a completely different feeling, and that was kind of what happened with this one. So hope you enjoy our version of I Got Rhythm, and please leave a comment and say hello. We'll stick around and chat with you for a while afterward. Thank you. So many slideshows here now. Yay, I'm going to find them. was our arrangement of George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm. And that is all the music for tonight. But we'd love to stick around and chat with you for a few minutes. I saw several comments popping up while we were playing. I couldn't see who was making them, but I'd love to take a few minutes to find out now and say hello to all of you. And of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night at the same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing these every single night until the end of time, I think. Yeah. And tomorrow night is going to be the start of week number 4. Can you believe it? It feels like it's been longer than 3 weeks because on one hand, we're having a lot of fun with this. This period of time feels like it's been longer than 4 weeks, though, for sure.
I don't remember how it feels going out.
Nope, I don't either. Do I remember how to drive? I'm not sure. We'll find out next time we get in the car.
I drive just again.
Yeah, exactly. I might have to also. Let's see here. Thank you all so much for watching. Seen a couple. Let's see. Got 11 comments on here. Let's see. Oh, your mom and Deanna are both watching. Hi, hola. Thank you so much for watching. It's so great to see you through Facebook. And Linda's watching. Hi, Linda. Hi there, Linda. You two. Loving this jazz ed course. Oh my gosh, the jazz ed course. Yeah, this is like our jazz school that we're kind of doing here. It's really fun for us, and honestly, it's good. Actually, good research for me to. There were a lot of stories about these pieces that we knew already, but I've also learned a lot of new information that I didn't know that I was researching before we played all this music over the last few weeks. So it's been really fun and educational for us too. Hey, Bob. Oh, Bob says have to catch up tomorrow morning. Gotta go now. That's all right. This video will be here forever. So thank you so much for watching in the beginning. Donna, hey Donna, great to see you again. Donna. She says, Ray Brown was married to Ella for 7 years. Yes, yeah, I remember that. Exactly. Yeah. Ella had, yeah, it's hard to, we idolize certain musicians, but you never know what their personal lives are like. And sometimes you have to kind of separate their musicianship from them as people. I'm not sure if I know any a specific story about that, but yeah. But thank you so much for watching again, Donna. It's so great to see you again.
Hey, Donna.
Yeah.
And I like you play guitar too. I saw you playing a little bit of guitar. It's nice.
Man, you are so musical. I love it. It's so great to have you sharing your music. We just appreciate it so much, and it's such a bright part of our day to see that on Facebook. And it's great how this period of time is getting people kind of to be really creative now and share their music and art. I think it's really like a great thing that's coming out of this. Hey Dad, he says good evening, great to see you again through Facebook.
Thank you, Jan.
We miss you so much. Watching. I know I say that every night, but I really mean it. Let's see, Greg, great to see you again. Greg Marshall, thank you for stopping by once again. Yay. Chris, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Is it Guidone? You'll have to, if you're still watching, you can tell me if I pronounce it correctly. So great to meet you. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Chris.
Did you find out about these videos from someone who shared on their page? You can let us know if that's the case. If so, that is super awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be doing these every single night at 8:30 p.m. So we hope you'll continue to tune in. And actually, if there's anybody out there who's watching this on my personal Facebook page right now, please go over to Laura Dubin Jazz, my Facebook music page, and give that page a like. And that way you'll be notified every time we do these live videos or anytime I post any other music-related content, which is pretty often. Carlos Mercado, another great set. Hola, Antonio, he says.
Mercado?
Yeah, is he related to Alex Mercado?
Are you...
Somebody who knows you, I think. Thank you so much for watching. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Yeah, we'll probably realize the connection right after this. Well, your mom and Deanna are watching. Maybe it's maybe he's a mutual friend.
Probably yes, but gracias.
Yeah, muchas gracias, and nice to meet you through the internet. Linda says she loves our songbook album. Thank you so much. That album is really close to our heart. Yeah, Linda says that. Yeah, she loves our songbook album. That was
Linda,
our.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that was our second album. Now we've got 7 albums, and we're in the middle of number 8 right now. Yeah. But that one was a really special one. It was the first time that we began recording our albums completely on our own, and that's how we've actually recorded everything since then. So yeah, it was a special experience to make that album.
We were lucky to have the piano in the Nazareth College.
Yes,
Steinway piano there.
Like to thank Mrs. Honadel for that. I know she's not on Facebook, but maybe she'll watch these on YouTube. She was my piano teacher from the time I was a little kid all the way until I graduated from high school, and we're still close friends, and I really can't thank her enough for everything. And specifically in this case, we recorded that album, the Great American Songbook album, at Nazareth College in the Wilmot Recital Hall. There's a beautiful piano there, and that is where I did all my piano recitals growing up. So my teacher, Mrs. Honadel, allowed us to use that facility to record our Great American Songbook album. It was such a great time. So I looks like I said hello to everybody. If I missed anyone, I do apologize. Once in a while, Facebook is kind of weird, and not all of the comments show up at once. I'm not sure why, but I will check all the comments again later and make sure I write hello to all of you if I miss you. So great to have you all here. Stay healthy and safe, and we will see you back here at the same time tomorrow night. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.